my passion is, rapid skin aging due to the fact of that rapid weight loss. There is like this little negative effect that is very much more noticeable on the face, up to a 30% loss in muscle and connective tissue. So these key indicators being skin deflation, deep wrinkles, dehydration, loss of density, compromised skin barrier, which can lead to dryness and skin irritation.
It's a big thing.
This is Skin Talks, the podcast where we go deeper than skin, products, and trends and explore the conversations that actually matter in health, beauty, wellness, and confidence.
We're a mother-daughter duo and the founders of boutique Skin Envie. After years inside the industry, we've learned that health is never just about what you use. It's about everything you digest, how you think, how you live, what you eat, how you move, what you put on your skin, and how you feel in your own body.
If you're looking for insight, honesty, and a fresh perspective on the future of health, beauty, and wellness, you're in the right place.
Let's get into it.
Skin Talks podcast by Boutique Skin Envie, hosted by Beate and Natasha.
Today was such an interesting episode for two reasons. First one is that, as you can see, my son has been born. He's 2 weeks old, and I was not really present for this episode for reasons that he was crying and just not feeling the vibe. And the second reason why this episode was so exciting is because we interviewed Valerie Potter-Johns, and we spoke all about GLP-1s, which we've spoken about a little bit on the podcast before. And then there's this huge trend that we're seeing that we kind of really debunked, which was GLP-1s in skincare. When brands are marketing GLP-1s in skincare, there are no GLP-1s in skincare. And I think that's really important to note. It's really that these brands are creating products that support people who are on GLP-1s and losing weight at such a drastic pace. And the part that I was present in the episode, we really spoke about supporting skin during GLP-1 and supporting your body during this as well. And I thought that was really interesting. So we hope that you guys enjoy Beate's first solo episode. It was so fun. So welcome to the podcast, Valerie. We are so excited to have this conversation with you, Valerie. This is something that I think we've mentioned a couple times on some solo episodes, GLP-1s. So what exactly is a GLP-1? What does it stand for?
So GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. This is a hormone that plays a crucial role in the glucose metabolism and appetite regulation within the body.
Okay. So it's like I mentioned that it's something that we spoke about. I've listened to a couple podcasts about it, and I find it to be very interesting. I know that this whole thing also about Ozempic. Is it like the same thing as Ozempic?
Yeah, absolutely. So GLP-1 is a incretin hormone produced in the intestines in response to any food intake, and it enhances your glucose-dependent insulin secretion. So it suppresses glucagon release, it slows down your gastric emptying, and it promotes a feeling of fullness and satisfaction. So these kind of new medications, and I use the word new lightly, but as we dig deeper, we'll realize that they've been around for the science has been around for a very long time.
Yeah, now there's new formulas.
Yes, changes on formulations, new medical approvals. It's a very exciting time for people that really do struggle with their weight. And, for people that struggle with obesity and other medical related concerns, it can actually be a real game changer.
But I just wanted to go back for a second and, the origin of GLP-1s. We know that it's today used for weight loss, but originally it was for diabetes. So can you talk a little bit more about that? The history of the GLP-1s and when they started, when did all this start and and the original intention for it?
Right. So the original science around the research for GLP-1s is actually about 4 decades old. And this was research that was being done on the effects of glucose metabolism and appetite controls. So then it was around the 1980s, and it was a university in Massachusetts and Chicago. They started doing research on gastrointestinal hormones. And then the GLP-1 was being studied for its role in insulin secretion and potentially as a potential treatment for type 2 diabetes.
Okay, very cool. So as you can see, we have a special guest here today on the podcast, and
I
this is my
know, I'm
grandson,
so lucky.
Maximilian. Yeah, it's our first recording after the baby's birth, so he's just getting used to being famous. It seems like, you know what I mean?
He wants to be heard. He
He
wants to be a part of the
does.
show
He
today.
does. Maybe one day he will be part of it. But yeah, definitely, it's we're thank you for being patient with us. We really wanted to have this episode recorded today. Okay, so originally used for diabetes, and then more modernly, it's been brought into GLP-1s have been brought into weight loss, and they've made a profound difference in that whole entire world of weight loss and managing obesity.
Absolutely. It's because in clinical trials, the GLP-1 receptor agonist not only improved blood sugar controls, but also led to the significant weight loss. And this is what paved the way for the approval for obesity treatments and weight loss treatments.
Okay. So I'm not sure of your extensive knowledge. So I'm just going to ask you some questions that so from what I've understood in GLP-1s, I mean, also known as Ozempic, and then there's some other names for it as well. Maybe you could.
Envie.
Okay.
Yep.
So what I've understood is when you start to take it, you kind of start on a dose and then you teeter up. And then, but then you can never really get off of it, is my understanding, because as soon as you get off of it, it triggers the body to still have the same feelings around hunger, like your hunger cravings. I have a girlfriend that went on Ozempic specifically. She started on a low dose, she increased the dose, and then she started to change her lifestyle and really work out more often, but also understand how to eat. So to maintain weight loss. But she told me, I remember originally before she even went on this, she goes, the minute she opened her eyes in the morning, the first thing that she thought about was food. What's she going to make for lunch? What's she going to make for dinner? Like, it was on the top of her mind at all times. And as she learned, so I'm kind of going back and forth, but as she learned how to eat properly and she lost dramatic amounts of weight through diet and exercise, she decided she wanted to kind of try to teeter off of it. And she also told me at that time that while she was teetering off of it, when she woke up in the morning, she started to have thoughts around food immediately again. So I guess my question is that what we have been told? So that's what we think, or is it actually scientifically that's what happens? I don't know enough about it, and I wonder if you do.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I can speak to the fact that my mother has been on Ozempic for quite a long time. But I think what the most important point here to realize is that this is medication.
Yeah.
So this whole process needs to be supervised by a physician. And there are many physicians now that specialize in weight loss specifically. So they're using these new GLP ones and GIP agonist as a kind of like an extra step in weight management,
Okay.
but not necessarily a quick fix. So there, your notations there of that these work best when people do modify their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So they are exercising regularly, and probably weight-bearing exercise combined with cardiovascular exercise. They're following a high-protein diet. As we all know, proper hydration is very, very important. And then they're seeing seeing their doctor regularly for ongoing blood work and supervision. I feel that the feeling of waking up and missing food is a feeling of being deprived. So that's something that that the person probably has to work on in addition to the exercise, the diet, and the hydration. But with some people, it is noted that this medication might be a long-term solution for them, and they might have to stay on it forever.
Yeah.
But that is completely personal. It's under medical supervision, and it's under the recommendations of a physician.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess really that whole notion of like a full 360-degree approach to anything that we do in life, whether it be diet, like weight loss, exercise, self-care, all of that really needs to have like a global approach rather than just a one-step solution. You said something important before, which I've also heard a lot about, is weight-bearing exercise and cardiovascular exercise. I've also heard, like Natasha said originally when we first started, we've listened to a lot of podcasts about this subject, and there's a lot of speculation and a lot of information that kind of travels around through social channels and just the way people communicate information today. But it does, from what I understand, if you are on Ozempic or other GLP-1s and you don't do those types of things, it really does affect the muscle mass in the body. So high protein diets, as well as, weightlifting, which we're learning more and more today, is so important for women.
Bone density.
And bone density, and also men, right? If we don't have the right amount of protein and we don't lift weights, like, you really notice it as somebody gets older. But then if you couple that in with a GLP-1 and you don't do that, it really has an effect on the body.
That's right. For example, my mother's physician that monitors her progress also does regular bone density and also mass muscle testing. So there's a machine that she stands on, it does a body scan. So these are the types of physicians that you want to be working with that are taking it that next step further.
100%.
So you're really looking after your whole body.
There's a lot of I feel like a lot of backlash on this whole GLP-1s and Ozempic trend and stuff like that. And I think that's because people who are taking it for that quick fix weight loss are not potentially doing it properly, so that the outcomes are not as good as somebody, let's say your mother, who's like really doing the homework, getting the bone density, like screenings, like all this stuff to make sure that you're really using this medication properly. Whereas a lot of where I see it to be like an issue sometimes is like a lot of young women, like they're trying to get skinnier and they're just doing it for like that skinny effect, and it's kind of like a little bit dangerous. Whereas
I think it
really
is.
should be taken seriously, someone who really needs it, who struggles with their weight, and then making sure that they're doing that 360 like diet, working out, all that stuff, so that it's not just like this quick fix.
Yeah, I think anything quick fix though, anything that you do as a quick fix is can be like very like worrisome, I would think.
So like it's not recommended for like, let's say like somebody who is kind of in shape trying to get skinny. It's really like you have to think of it as a medication,
right? And
really for somebody who has medical issues that need it, and then or somebody who really struggles with weight gain or weight loss. I mean, yeah.
That's right. Like, from my experience with physicians that I work with, nobody's just going to write a prescription for a GLP-1 without having blood work done, really seriously looking at does this patient need this type of medication? Is it a medical reason? Are their ratios for fat and body mass in a line, or are they out of line? So, this is a very serious decision that both the patient and the physician together.
Well, lifestyle.
So it's definitely, it's a lifestyle. And that's the biggest myth. It's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be used just for losing a couple of pounds. This should be used in conjunction because you're excessively you've got overweight and you want to improve your overall health.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask about something else because I think it was you and I that had this conversation one time, Valerie, and there was a conversation I had, I think it was with you, that was about in the United States, a lot of medical spas was bringing on Ozempic or like GLP-1s as part of practices in medical spa settings, which is not something that we see in Canada, I don't think. Did you ever hear anything about that? If that's something that's been regulated, that is actually part of the Medi Spa experience in the United States?
Each state within the United States has different regulations. So to actually make a reference to that would be very state dependent.
Okay.
But I can speak to what we've here in Canada. And here in Canada, we're taking it very seriously, and people do have to be monitored by a physician. But if we look at in the United States, there's approximately 131 million people
Wow.
that are currently using GLP-1s or GIPs for the reduction of weight loss.
Okay.
So it's massive,
It's a
big business.
huge business.
But like everything that's big business and becomes very trendy, then it becomes very scary that it has to be monitored in the right way.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing a lot of medi spas in Canada right now that are doing it unless they have their patients are speaking with a physician.
Okay.
So most of the med spas do have a physician medical director, and those clinics, if they were putting a patient on a GLP-1, would have a consultation with a physician. And I do believe that blood work would be done and a whole conversation around lifestyle.
Yeah, lifestyle and that.
And if you're, and if you're going to a med spa where they're not doing those things for you and just writing a prescription, I don't feel that would be the best for the patient's well-being.
Yeah. So it's like it's a catalyst to get things going and to living a more healthy, productive lifestyle and really changing your relationship to food, exercise, and health, well-being overall. It has to be kind of seen as a total, complete global approach. I love that though, because I think that's very helpful to people.
And there's some people out there that do a lot of the right things, but they just need a little bit of a boost. And that basically, how the GLP-1, how they work, the GLP receptor in the brain influences the appetite regulation. So that's what increases that feeling of fullness and the reduction of hunger, but also it enhances the insulin secretion and reduces that glucagon release. So that helps to lower blood sugar levels. And as well as this, the GLP-1s, they also have a really crucial role in fat metabolism. So they go beyond just appetite and glucose regulations, because now using these GLP-1s for certain people have also shown potential improvement in not only cardiovascular health and heart disease, but also overall kidney health as well. So there's a lot of really important factors for people to consider when they're taking the GLP-1s.
I'd be very curious because it's relatively new, right? When it comes to weight loss, like how long has it been around for weight loss? I don't know if we talked about that.
So, so Ozempic was approved in Canada in 2018.
So it's really new.
And that was approved for really new for the treatment of diabetes. And then in 2021, we kind of found that it was, becoming more popular for weight management. And then it was that's super new. And then in 2025, it was approved by Health Canada for the treatment of kidney disease.
Okay, so interesting. So it's really, really new.
There are thousands of products out there. Every brand claims to be clean, clinical, or the best. It's impossible to know who to trust. At Boutique Skin Envie, we do the work for you. We don't carry everything. We curate only the brands and products that are science-backed, results-driven, that we love and feel are truly worth your skin and your money. No paid placements, no hype, no guessing, just skincare you can trust, with real guidance from people who actually care. Use code SkinTalks15 at beskinenvie.ca. That's BSKINENVIE.ca for 15% off your first order.
I'd be very curious to see as we fast forward through time, what it's going to be like in terms of overall results. You know what I mean? When you look at like the overall, will it reduce heart disease overall? Will it reduce like all the things that are the secondary effects that come from obesity and eating incorrectly? Like if it will have a global effect on people's long-term health. I'm curious to see what happens with that.
Yes, I think with proper medical controls and people using it in the correct way, that you will see an increased popularity in these medications, even in microdosing as preventative
Mm-hmm.
medicine.
Mm-hmm.
But again, these factors are very independent on the individual, so they have to be monitored by the physician. So you can't really just say they're going to be great for everyone because everyone is so different.
Everyone's unique, and I guess we have to create like through the medical system. Everybody has to create their own personal plan around it, according to what they
Mhm.
can do. So I've also heard things like, I don't know what it's like in Canada, and maybe you know a little bit more about this, but the price for a lot of people is inaccessible when it comes to weight loss. And my particular girlfriend that went on this, I don't know for your mother, maybe you have more information on that, but I think it started with her at $250 a month. And when she talked to me about it
Yeah.
originally, I said, well, if you're eating less, you'll be buying less food. So you can kind of understand that $250 that you're spending on this, well, you'll have probably close to a $250 grocery bill decrease, right? But then when they
Mhm.
wanted to teeter her
Yeah.
up, it was going to $450 and $500 a month. And I had said to her,
Yeah.
okay, so if you're willing to spend that, why don't you get a personal trainer? Why don't you get a nutritionalist? Why don't you dedicate yourselves to, or like commit yourself into getting support on the weekly and accountability. And so that's what she did then, because it became a price that was, more about, she understood to fix her lifestyle was more important than just buying $450 worth of medication every month to drop weight.
That might work for some people, but it's not going to work for everyone.
Yeah.
So my mother also is willing to spend the $250 a week, but what that has allowed her to do with losing the weight, she automatically can do more exercise.
Yeah.
She's more physically active.
Yeah.
She wants to eat well because now she feels like she looks so much better than before because friends are telling her, look, you look so, fabulous for your age. So she's motivated. And even
Energy
though she was
levels,
never
right?
really, yeah, energy has gone up. So I think that when people have, and if they need the boost and then they start to see the results, they become so motivated to do other things. And then that's where the regular monitoring and the physician coaching comes in because you want to, as they do start to become more mobile, you want to encourage more activity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's all about, really,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the weight loss, it's about overall general health
Yeah.
and becoming the healthiest version of yourself. And not everyone needs medications, but there are some people
Yeah.
that absolutely need them and they can't lose weight without them.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you said, it's really it's psychological. Once you start feeling better and people notice, it's like it's going to propel you in most cases, I would imagine, to take more care and to go deeper into this path of health and wellness and just feeling good, right? And having energy levels that are increased. I like it a lot. And I like the approach of really tackling it from different angles.
That's right. And even though we do know now that regulation has been passed to make these medications more affordable going forward, so you're going to start to see a decrease from that 250. I'm not sure what that pricing will look like, but I've heard anywhere from 40 to 50%
I
less.
hope so.
So we'll have to wait and see because that will make these fabulous medications for people who need them that much more
Yeah.
accessible.
And it should be. It's like one of those things that should be accessible to people for like long term also. Uh, everything that we do now is going to affect us personally, but also our system, our medical system and everything in a positive way down the road, right? Because the more weight we put on everything, the more the system can't manage it. We see that all over the
That's
place
right.
in Canada.
Yeah, we're getting our our population is aging. So as we get in a couple of years down the road, we'll have a lot more people over that 65, 70 mark
Mm-hmm.
where, those diseases like diabetes and cardiovascular problems and heart health and kidney health, they'll all be on the increase if we don't start to pay attention to if we don't make these medications more affordable and accessible
Yeah.
for the general population.
100%.
So I think
100%.
it is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So now,
And you just stop doing like, you just stop, your Starbucks every day, and, you start to, make more of your own foods and go out, stop going out to restaurants as often, pay attention to salt intake. So I think all of those little things will, like you said, kind of, you'll eat better, so you'll save money. So I think it's just that whole holistic approach that people need to start paying attention to.
yeah. Yeah, which leads me to really what we're seeing now in terms of GLPs being incorporated into the skincare world. Man, to take a step back, when you're taking a GLP-1 and you lose weight and you change the way that you eat, automatically there's an effect that you have it has an effect on your skin, being the largest external organ, right? So how the skin looks, and also the vibrancy. When you reduce sugar intake, you reduce, like you said, wine, coffee, all the bad foods that we're eating, fast foods and stuff, automatically the skin changes with these changes, right? So we see the GLP-1s now coming into our skincare world. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. And I know you have some expertise in that area. So why don't you share about that with us, Valerie?
Right. So yes, this is really my passion is, rapid skin aging due to the fact of that rapid weight loss. So physicians, because these GLP-1s and GIPs are becoming so popular, physicians not only are seeing the positive effects on overall health, but there is like this little negative
Mm-hmm.
effect that is very much more noticeable on the face than on the skin on the body. Even though we do see laxity in the upper arm, and when people do lose a large amount of weight, they'll definitely see the laxity, but on the face it becomes very noticeable because you start to get lack of density. So physicians are seeing patients that can lose, if they're not following the proper lifestyle changes, up to a 30% loss in muscle and connective tissue as a result of rapid weight loss. And in addition to that, they're losing subcutaneous fat loss. And that really leads to a breakdown of connective tissues, such as skin proteins like collagen and elastin. And it basically boils down to accelerated visible skin aging.
Yeah.
So these key indicators being skin deflation, deep wrinkles, dehydration, loss of density, compromised skin barrier, which can lead to dryness and skin irritation.
Yeah. I know it's a big thing.
It's a big thing. So as well as doing that healthy lifestyle when taking these medications, it's also now becoming really popular to start using topical skincare products that can also manage those physical changes that we're seeing in the skin.
Mm-hmm. So probably topical, but also more progressive treatments that you would find in a med spa environment kind of thing also as well, right? I know we do see like a humongous rise of plastic surgery. And I think plastic surgery has come such a long way. It's incredible, I find, what they can do today with these different kinds of facelifts and eye lifts and neck and everything like that. I find it incredible when I see what people look like, especially weight loss. That loss of volume and density in the face is really a big deal, just generally speaking, as we get older. But if you're coupling that in with extreme weight loss, we can see it. And so, working on like more plastic surgery, but also on treatments that involved, microneedling, radio frequency, probably ultrasound, different things heat related that help to firm and sort of tone the tissue, but also topically we're finding it. And we starting to hear about GLP-1s being present in skincare, you know?
So you start to see that, but then you have to question yourself, is it more of a trend that they're using that, or is it really proven ingredients with proven delivery systems that are actually going to work on a level within the skin?
Yeah.
So I think some of that might be trendy and, jumping on the bandwagon while this seems to be like very popular and people are starting to notice these physical changes. So I think we have to proceed with caution,
Yeah.
and you have
Manage
to really look at
expectations.
ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to manage your expectations, and you have to really understand the skin to be able to and understand what a topical can actually achieve. I think the best overall approach is to work with a med spa that does have technologies that are focused on firming and lifting the skin, and like you mentioned, a variety of fabulous treatments that are out there, and then combining this with specific products that have been formulated to manage the topical changes that we're going to notice within the skin.
So that leads me to my next question. So I know that today you're working with Image Skincare, and they recently launched a product that I want to hear all about in relation to GLP-1s and what you've seen and the science behind it and all that kind of stuff. If you could share that with us, I would be like, I'm super curious.
Yes, Volulift. So, Volulift, and I think this is really important to note. It's the first to market solution for GLP weight loss, for firming and tightening the skin. And it was developed by a plastic surgeon. So this formulation, it was formulated to combat specific facial changes as a result from using these medications and losing quite a large amount of weight. And it basically addresses all of the major concerns. So we're calling it a 4D rebound complex. And the 4Ds are deflation, deep wrinkles, dehydration, and density.
Okay.
So I think the fact that the plastic surgeon kind of made up, and he is the co-founder of Image Skincare. He made it a mandate for him to come up with a solution because he was seeing more and more patients coming in for surgical options. So knowing that surgical options were suitable for some people, but not necessarily affordable or needed for other people, he felt compelled to develop this new formulation. So he worked with a dermatologist to create the formula, which is a patent pending formula for Volulift. So it's really exciting. And it's exciting times to be able to give people, and it's really easy to use and actually quite fast, impressive results, which I don't usually say very often when I'm, speaking about a new product. But I can honestly say that you see a difference quite quickly using Volulift.
Okay. So explain to us how you would incorporate this product into a routine, and also the price of the product, how long it lasts, and
Yeah,
when can people start to see change? And I'm assuming this is people that are also just, aging skin. As it gets older, it loses density and volume. So it's for anybody pretty much in that category.
absolutely right. It is for anybody, and you can think of the absolute opposite side of the equation of everything that we've been speaking about today. You can look at that ultra fit person, that marathon runner that has, very little body fat, but really has deflation, is aging topically a little bit faster than, say, someone who has more of a, I call it like a fat little buffer, let's say. So it can be used by anyone. So from, the ultra fit person that's noticing deflation and laxity laxity to that person that is noticing deflation and laxity due to rapid weight loss. So the person, the demographic for this product is quite vast. How someone would use this is that it could be incorporated into anyone's daily routine. Let's say you have a favorite cleanser and a toner and a serum that you like to use, then you would use your Volulift over the top of your serum before your sunscreen.
So it is
That
a
would be how it
hydrator.
would fit into it.
It's a hydrator.
Yeah, it does. It's a hydrator, but it's a very lightweight. It does give you a feeling of nourishing. It's quite luxurious in texture, and once you try this, you'll feel that you go, wow, this is actually all I really need. I could wash my face, tone, and then apply the Volulift, because when I go over the great ingredients that are in the product, you'll understand why it can be a standalone. Or it could just be used with as incorporated into your normal regime that you enjoy using on a daily basis.
And if you're more mature skin and you have a drier, like, as people go through menopause, or men also getting older in life, you lose that lipidic nature to your skin. You could layer on top another cream if you needed something, if you felt like you needed more hydration. So it really can be used for all skin types. So
yeah, all skin types, it just would go after a serum. But if you felt like you needed more of an occlusive layer over the top, particularly when we're minus 20 or minus 25 degrees outside, you might need that protective shield. It could be used just before that extra layer.
Okay, I love that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll dig deep. So we've got this new technology in image skincare. It's in quite a few of our products. We've got a proprietary patent pending ExoSM technology. This is a phospholipid liposome that boosts the overall performance of any formula that we put this ingredient into. And it really protects and nourishes the skin barrier with encapsulated antioxidants such as actone, vitamin C, and a really nice rich microalgae. So this technology alone will deliver optimized penetration and also antioxidant protection, and reduces the pro-inflammatory cytokine secretion. So therefore, it will really help to reduce redness and skin irritation. So that's a very important alone is a great ingredient in any formulation, even as a standalone.
Okay.
Then we have L-ornithine, which is an amino acid, and this is used for the deflation to plump the skin and address visible signs of loss of volume. Now, the interesting thing with L-ornithine is that as soon as it penetrates into the epidermis, it starts to signal to the lower level of the epidermis. So it's not actually making fat cells bigger. It actually just encourages that lower level of the dermis to kind of lift a little. And if you can lift the upper level of the dermis, then that upper level of the epidermis automatically inflates and wrinkles seem to be less visible. So it's an ingredient that triggers as soon as it hits the epidermis, but it's actually working at that dermal level.
Okay.
So that's how you're getting that increased density. Then we have bakuchi oil, which is a plant-based retinoid. So it's often used with retinol when people can't use a retinol as an alternative, and a plant-based alternative. But you get all of the great benefits from a retinoid. So this is going to help to stimulate collagen production and increase skin roughness and texture. It also helps to improve surface pigmentation and will help to reduce a little bit of redness by making the skin stronger.
Okay.
So that's another great. So here you see, and we're getting, we've got proprietary patent pending technology for delivery of these antioxidants, and also making the actual entire formulation be able to be penetrate deep into the skin at the layers it needs to be. Then for a more topical, we've got HA Silanol, which is a next generation hyaluronic acid. And as you know, hyaluronic acid acid stays high in the upper epidermis, and it helps with dehydration. But the silanol also helps to upregulate your own production of hyaluronic acid. So that's where we're getting the overall skin barrier function intact and working the way that it should be working. Then we're using a new ingredient for me. It is, we're combining kangaroo paw extract, which is a plant-based ingredient. And this boosts the tensin X and that synthesis within the dermis to synthesize more collagen and more elastin production. And then we have plant collagen fragments that are also working to visibly tighten and improve the sagging skin. So the formulation is really powerful. New ingredients, light texture, but a nourishing feel on the surface of the skin. And I think people, once they try this product, it's going to be something that they want to continue to use on a regular basis. There will not be any redness or irritation. In fact, clinical studies have proven that there's actually a decrease in redness for people that are using this product. So that people really enjoy that when, particularly this time of the year.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. And what I think I want to understand is how is this, they've marketed this product really as a GLP-1 product, right? So from what I understand. And so, but there's no GLP-1s in the actual ingredients. It's not the same as, so it's just marketed to complement people that are using the GLP-1s for rapid weight loss or for, let's say, diabetes or other things like that. So it's really helping to strengthen everything, lift, tone, smooth, trigger the natural healing response in the body, trigger the hyaluronic acid in the body to maintain and improve. So it's really like like a global approach to skin firming and tightening, in the same way we talk about how like lifestyle is so important in that 360-degree approach. So it's really for the client that has that the 4Ds that we talked about earlier.
The 4Ds, and the 4Ds are for sure going to come with rapid weight loss.
Yeah.
And and I think this is why we have to be very careful when a product is marketed as having the GLP one ingredient in the formulation, because you have to ask yourself, well, how does that work in the skin?
Yeah.
And I think, so you have to be very, you have to really understand the ingredients, and you have to understand what you're trying to achieve in the skin. So sometimes we don't chase the trend word. We have to do, and that's what makes everything that your company does so special, because you dig deep, not only with, bypass the trend, but go to what really will make a difference on the surface of the skin.
Well, I find this so interesting because I wasn't sure really when we decided to do this podcast together, like we talked about this product that you launched, and I was like, okay, GLP-1s, we're hearing about it everywhere. It's trending. It's important. It's a big topic of conversation for many people, and this product that's associated with it. So I was really trying to understand originally, and I was looking forward to this conversation because, as somebody that would hear that would think, oh, so this is an Ozempic skincare product, like this is a GLP-1s or whatever and it contains that, but it doesn't actually do that. It supports people and with a proprietary formulation that's got these science-backed results where you actually can support somebody going through this process of rapid weight loss or just aging in general. Or like you say, somebody who's an athlete that has that very thin athletic look to their face because they're a runner, but the skin is loose, or, ballerinas where the body is tight and everything's working perfectly, but you look at the face, it doesn't match the body kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's why the clinical studies was so important for this product, because they did a 12-week clinical study, and it was on women aged 35 to 65, but the patient had to have experienced rapid weight loss and had to have been on a GLP-1 medication. So they were really wasn't just like we're gonna choose people that have lost a couple of pounds. These had to be people who had lost significant amount of weight in the study. And the patients were using the product morning and evening, including their neck and their jawline. And after the 12-week clinical study, volume was increased by 20%, firmness was increased by 22.5, and net elasticity was increased by 23.2%. General wrinkle depth was decreased by 20%, and hydration was increased by close to 22%. So, this 12-week clinical study on people who had experienced the weight loss and who had noticed these signs, at least two of the visible signs of aging,
Mm-hmm.
then they became a candidate for the study. So,
Mm.
the results there, and there's been a couple of fabulous testimonials with out of other distributors around the world that have taken before and after pictures that are notably like you just look at it and you go, you know what? That's not a company photo. That is actually a clinic photo,
Mm-hmm.
and the results are very dramatic, and the product is standing up to what what the company says the efficacy will be.
Oh, so nice.
And I believe the price point is good. The price point is $218,
Okay.
but for a formulation that has all of these great ingredients, has the clinical support, and has this luxurious feel and texture without creating any irritation or redness on the skin,
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is a price point that people will be willing to pay for.
Yeah, I agree with you there. How many mLs is it, just out of curiosity? A standard 50 ml?
It's a 57 ml,
Okay, so
so
it's
it's almost
even
double the size.
larger. Yeah, no, that's totally in line. And I would imagine if you're using it, because I know from my experience, when you get into professional or medical grade skincare, like it's really less is more. You don't need to be piling on products. So it's quite a thin layer. So I would imagine it would last between 3 and 4 months.
It would last definitely about 3 months.
3 months, morning and
When you're
evening,
using
right?
the morning and evening. It's nice. It comes in a really easy to dispense tube. They've thought of everything, even for an older patient that might, not be comfortable with jars. It's just a little
Yeah.
flip lid,
Yeah.
comes out nice and easy. Very soft, delicate texture, great spreadability, dries down quickly on the skin, but leaves the skin feeling comfortable and hydrated.
I love it. Okay. So this really helped me to understand the whole GLP-1s and skincare a little bit more. So it's, thank you for that. And that's why, you acknowledged before, the reason why we have these kinds of conversations is really to dive into subjects and to debunk trends and to understand, what is available to people so that we can help people to really make good choices for themselves and making these choices in a way where they're informed of actually not just following what somebody says through a reel on Instagram or TikTok, but really getting more deeper into the conversation of what's the history and why kind of thing. And I really love that. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about the new product, VoluLift, or about GLP-1s in general? Because we always close our podcast with 3 signature questions. So I haven't even read the questions yet. So I'm going to do that as we go along. I read the first one, but really to get your opinion on some things. Was there anything you want to share before we move into that?
I just think that it's always better when you're starting these types of medications. As soon as you start taking them, start to work on looking after your skin, both with professional treatments, and professional skincare. So don't wait until you start to really notice the laxity or the density drop. Start as soon as you start along this journey, because you will actually see better results in the long run.
Okay.
So earlier especially starting with VoluLift, the earlier you start, the better off your results will be in the end.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that would be a
Yeah.
And then the other thing is just making sure that you're being medically supervised when you're taking any of these medications, whether it be Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. There's many of them on the market. So that's why we need to have physician care to choose the medication that will be right for you.
Yeah. And also, like, choosing the right thing, but also understanding the side effects of taking medication like this, so you can mitigate those issues by creating a good daily practices to sort of counteract the side effects of what happens when you get on these medications in terms of, muscle loss and all this kind of thing. So, okay, I'm going to ask you the first question. So you did give already part of the answer, I think, which I probably should have asked you the question before. But so what is one thing that you wish more people understood about GLP-1s and skin health?
Well, like I just said, I feel the sooner you start on the skincare, the better, and make sure you're under proper medical care. That would be, again,
Yeah,
reiterating
that's
the
what
basics,
I
but
figured you were going to
still,
say.
yeah, still very, very
It is important. I agree with you 100%. And what is one small realistic step someone on GLPs can take today to better support their skin?
I would say following the diet that their physician would recommend, but the importance of following a high protein diet, and then obviously making sure that you're conscious of how much water you're taking in on a daily basis, because all of those things combined will help with muscle mass and everything else that we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So following a proper diet. And then the weight bearing exercises, whether, it be weightlifting or it be resistance training, doing Pilates, anything that you do will make a difference.
Oh, it makes a big difference. And also just in your energy levels and how you feel, right? You feel better when you move. Movement is very important also for the lymphatic system and everything like that. It helps to move everything through, which we need. We need to move.
My Pilates, I do Pilates regularly, and my Pilates teacher tells me that lotion is the motion.
Yeah. I like that. That's a great.
And that keeps. So lotion is the motion.
Yeah.
And that's, I kind of always think of that when I'm thinking about when I'm doing exercise and lubricating the joints and just getting everything moving properly.
And shaking. Yeah. Okay. So our last question today is, when it comes to skin health, what does feeling good in your skin truly mean to you?
I feel that feeling good in your skin is double for me, because I look at skincare as being a physical and also highly emotional. And I'll explain. When your skin is radiant, hydrated, reflective, there's a confidence there. And that confidence shows when you walk into a room. Even if you wear makeup, your makeup looks smoother, but there's definitely an inner confidence. When people suffer with their skin, such as, let's just say a younger person that's gone through this rapid weight loss, and people start to say things like, you look so tired, or maybe you've lost too much weight, you look gaunt now, then, that has a negative effect on how they feel about themselves. So I just feeling good in your skin, it's paying attention to making choices, doing things that make your skin look the best it can be, and that delivers that confidence both on a physical and on an emotional level.
100%. 100%. I love that, Valerie. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today on Skin Talks. We really enjoyed the conversation, and I really feel like it's going to help people to, when they're going through these things, to be better informed and make good choices for themselves. So thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for inviting me to come on, and thank you for letting me highlight Volulift. Thank you.
Yeah, it helped me understand it more. And I did receive the products yesterday, so I am definitely going to try it.
Can't wait to hear your feedback.
Yeah, for sure. I'll let you know.
Thank you for listening to Skin Talks.
If this episode inspired you, taught you something new, or just made you feel seen, please share with someone you love. And if you believe in thoughtful and empowering conversations that help you make better choices for yourself around your beauty and wellness, please rate and review the show. It helps us to grow our community, and we deeply appreciate it. Because this isn't just about skin.
It's about claiming your beauty, feeling strong, informed, and at home in yourself.
See you next week.